In our last video, we learned that to become a leader, we begin by hardwiring a leadership mindset. Specifically, we learned that our leadership mindset is essentially goal-oriented. It should be invoked when we're engaged in anything that involves two or more people trying to achieve common goals. And we also saw that because our leadership mindset must be primarily goal-oriented, that means that leadership is not, essentially, it's not primarily people-oriented. People skills are a good leadership toolkit item, but it's not primarily what's required. The question is, how can we invoke that leadership mindset easily, readily, intuitively? And the answer lies in what has been called the 20 most powerful words in leadership, what we term the enterprise commitment. You ready? Here it is. When working in a team or group environment, I will place the interests of the enterprise ahead of my own. When working in a team or group environment, I will place the interests of the enterprise ahead of my own. Just advanced common sense, right? And yet over 30 years of working with leaders and teams, I've found that those 20 simple words are the single most powerful tool available to anyone who wants to become a truly effective leader. Let's break it down a little, clause by clause. First, when in a team or group environment. This preamble to the enterprise commitment reminds us that our leadership mindset only needs to kick in when others are involved. That's the essence of leadership. But just bear in mind that a team or group environment doesn't only mean formal physical meetings. The enterprise commitment is applicable to any situation, formal or informal, where others are involved. It could be online, offline, you could be in a conference room, on the phone, by email, or standing by the water cooler. And remember also that even a solo activity can be something that's part of a group or team environment and therefore covered by the enterprise commitment. Just think back to the leaf raking example from our last video. The second clause, within a group or team environment, I will place the interests of the enterprise. We've already seen that leadership is goal-oriented, not primarily people-centered. And so the enterprise commitment reminds us to place first the interests of the underlying enterprise, the thing we're there to do. I chose the word enterprise carefully in order to focus us on the task or goal that the group or the team are primarily engaged in achieving, opening the hospice or whatever. You could be on a 2-day offsite to plan the rollout of a new product. Then that's the enterprise. And that's what takes precedence. Maybe you're chatting with colleagues to plan this year's holiday party. Same thing. That's the enterprise. You setting up a Thursday morning book club? Same thing. That's the enterprise. In short, when you're leading, it's whatever you're there to achieve that takes precedence. The third clause, ahead of my own. When I'm in a group or team environment, I place the interests of the enterprise ahead of my own. Precedence over what? Well, welcome to another aspect of leadership. Self-sacrifice. Assuming your basic underlying competence that you're good at what you do, the single biggest barrier to effective leadership is in getting out of your own way, and specifically overcoming our own personal desires and preferences. Don't forget the essence, the very core of leadership, as we've said again and again, lies in helping any group of 2 or more people achieve their common goals. Notice it's about helping the group reach their goals, not us helping ourselves reach our goals. And this in turn means we've got to subjugate our preferences to those of the group. Otherwise, we just become a tyrant or a dictator, not a leader. A nice, cuddly tyrant or dictator, I'm sure, but still. And nor does this mean the enterprise commitment. It doesn't mean that a leader who's led by those 20 powerful words operates at the other extreme, responding passively to the desires and prejudices of the group and bringing nothing themselves. That's not leadership at all. True leadership involves using your faculties, your knowledge, your experience, your judgment to make decisions, sometimes very hard decisions, decisions that will get the group closer to their common goal, but doing so in a manner that isn't biased by our own presuppositions. And in our next video, I'm going to show you some highly specific, effective tools you can use to do just that.